Hey, thanks, Spencer. How you doing, Wee Day? Good morning. Wow. Such an honor for me to be here. And I want to talk to you about a roadblock that many of us face on our journeys through life. You know, we heard Mark and Craig earlier talking about it. You know, people say that I'm only one person. What can I do? You know, well, what I've learned is that the world can be changed by just one person. It starts with a shift in yourself. And it reminds me of my journey and all the barriers that I faced along the way. You know, growing up, I played every sport that I could. Basketball, volleyball, you name it, I played it. And I dreamed of competing one day for Canada at the Olympic Games. And of course, then when I was 15 years old, everything changed. I went on a fishing trip with some friends, and we decided to hitchhike home, and we got in the back of a pickup truck, and that truck went out of control, and I was thrown from the truck, and I sustained a spinal cord injury, and the doctors told me that I'd never walk again. I thought all of my hopes and dreams were shattered along with my spine. But of course, I was absolutely wrong. What I realized is that I really needed is to shift an attitude in me. I absolutely had to face a long and painful rehabilitation, and I followed really hard to learn how to get around in the wheelchair. But everything was different. Now that I was using a wheelchair, there were barriers that I was facing everywhere. My school wasn't accessible. The biggest barriers of all, of course, were the kinds that you couldn't see. You know, when I was injured, I was told that I shouldn't expect much living with the kind of disability that I had. And at first, I actually believed it. I couldn't imagine myself still being an athlete. But thankfully, my high school coach and teacher, Bob Redford, taught me something really valuable. He taught me that I was still Rick, the athlete, the adventurer. And he told me that nowhere in the definition of an athlete does it say that you have to use your legs in order to be one. I just had to adapt and think differently. Absolutely. And with that new reality came new possibilities. No, I couldn't walk, but you know, I could use this chair, and not only just to get around, but I could actually go and have some fun, go to school dances, kick it up and do some wheelies. And I even went on to represent my country, Canada, this incredible country, in track and marathoning at the Olympic and Paralympic Games. By changing my attitude, my biggest dream yet had been accomplished. And you know, I was filled with gratitude. I absolutely knew that I didn't get there on my own. And I knew that I had to pay it forward, that I had to shift from me to we. You see, traveling the world as a Paralympian, I saw barriers everywhere that people with disabilities faced. And I decided that I could do something about it. That if I could push my wheelchair around the world, I could prove that people with disabilities could do anything if barriers were removed. And it was a huge goal, and you know, many times I thought I couldn't reach my goal. But with determination and the support of an amazing team that saw me through, that's how we began the Man in Motion tour. I pushed my wheelchair through 34 countries, traveling 40,000 kilometers around the world. And it took over 2 years to complete our journey. We raised $26 million and created awareness in support of an accessible and inclusive world. And I knew that the end of our journey, though, was just the beginning of my life journey, because there was so much more to do. We started the Rick Hansen Foundation to continue to make a difference, and we've made great progress over all these years. However, our work isn't done, because big change takes time, perseverance, effort, and millions of people coming together to break down barriers one at a time. So today, well, it's unbelievable. I want you to know there's over 1 billion people living on this planet living with a disability. And they are one of the world's largest minorities. But the problem is that it's not on people's radar. And many people don't realize that people with disabilities face not only physical barriers, but ones based on attitudes every day. So together, we can continue to break down these barriers. And what can you do to help? Think about barriers in your own schools, in your communities, locally, nationally, globally. Think about your own attitudes towards people with disabilities. Think about bullying and how we can eliminate it. Together, we can envision an even better world, a world that's accessible and inclusive for all. So think big, everybody. Think inclusive. Think creatively, and you'll find limitless possibilities for all that you can accomplish in your life. You can move from me to we. Never give up on your dreams, you guys. You're all difference makers. Go for it, We Day. Let's go. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Thank you.